all right, so Captain Marvel is 22nd or 21st movie in the MCU. Came out recently. And I don't know. I enjoyed it. I think it's pretty good. I think there's like people online saying it's the worst Marvel movie ever. And I'm like, you're insane. But then I saw comments like it's the best in the MCU. I'm like, you're equally insane. Like
it's probably somewhere
you're a joke
in the
of a
middle.
human. Yeah.
It's a good middle rated film.
I would say that's what I would sort of say. I think like it's really enjoyable, but I think it's
no Thor 2.
It's no Arrow season 2.
It's no Arrow.
Oh my god, my father was watching Thor 2 last night. And you know that bit we're on that sort of like floating sailboat thing?
Yeah.
And Thor and Loki just talking to each other?
No, I know every bit from that. No, it's such a meme. Yeah.
And then he kind of turns...
I'm pressing it, yeah.
He turns to me and he's like, hey, that thing must be on autopilot. No one's driving. I thought, well, yeah, you're not wrong. It's just like such a weird thing to bring up.
It's like, Dad, it's a floating car. They probably worked out autopilot.
That's what I love. It's why I love Robot Chicken, and why I also love this YouTuber Jenny Nicholson, because they'll just point out things that you wouldn't see in a million years. Like she'll point out something like in Star Wars, you're like, I never thought of it that way. Like, and like Suicide Squad, like it's so funny. Because, I won't get into it, but you should watch any of her videos.
Yeah, I love that sort of stuff.
I love Robot Chicken so much. I just, they're so funny.
When he's, ordering lunch and or when he's, going up the escalator and all the stormtroopers like, Emperor. And he's like, Stormtrooper. Yeah, shut up.
Yeah, they just take, little things. But Captain Marvel.
Yeah, that too.
So we open with a beautiful tribute to Stan Lee with the Marvel opening.
That was very cool.
With all the different splashes of his cameos.
Definitely did shed a tear or two for that.
It was
it was just so wholesome.
It took me a second to realize what was going on. I was like, what? Oh. And then I was like, oh. And then it was quiet. And then it was I remember I just instinctively clapped, and a whole bunch of people did a little applause.
I think we might have as well.
I think it was just so humbled to have that, and then just a little quick thing saying thanks, Stan, right afterwards, and then the movie started. It was okay,
that was good.
That's really lovely.
And so now the film opens up on the planet Hollow, and we see our hero Brie Larson talking to Jude Law. And
well, where does it start? Because she wakes up 3 times in the first minute and a half of that film. I was so thrown.
I was
straight
confused
away.
a lot, I'll be honest.
We got there a little bit late. I felt so... I was trying to fill it in. And then at the very end, she's like, I've been fighting with my hand tied behind my back. And I just turned to Kosta, I'm like, oh yeah, by the way, she has an inhibitor chip. Sorry, you missed that. That was an important detail that I should have told you about.
Yeah.
The whole time, yeah. They throw a lot at you. So she's on the Kree world, and there's the Supreme Intelligence, which is an AI form that takes the form of
that was pretty
someone
hard.
you're close to. I don't know.
It was strange. That added having the Supreme
Supreme Intelligence.
Yeah, Supreme Intelligence.
Call it Robot God.
Yep, Robot God. It just added an extra layer of confusion, because then you're like, okay, but who's this character? And then but she doesn't know at the same time, so you're trying to work it out.
I feel like it was just a way to give more screen time to that actress. The one who plays the general or whatever.
I forgot her name. She's a famous actress.
Because they were it was so much exposition. She was good. We always talk about that. And it was that first 15 minutes of that film, there's so much exposition. He's you're on the Kree world, remember? And you've been having nightmares for ages. We know all about this. Now you should go to the Supreme Intelligence, which is the thing you visit all the time. It takes the, perspective of someone you admire.
She's quite a complicated hero, because I remember I saw on the show Earth's Mightiest Heroes, which is most of my Marvel knowledge comes from, and it took 3 episodes basically for her to get her powers, because it's she's mixed with Kree DNA, and then she gets these things. So it was an interesting take in this movie, how she's sort of waking up and he's sparring with her, and he's you have to control your power, blah blah blah. But I don't know about you guys, and maybe because the trailers showed a lot, but I feel at no point was I yeah, she's an alien. I'm it's so obvious that she's from Earth.
Yeah, I think...
And they're but I guess it's more of a revelation for her as opposed to the audience.
I was just going to say that. It's more about her than the audience in that sense. I think it was more, they were trying to stare us down this whole, we think we know where it's going, and then it was kind of the villain in the end was the plot twist, which kind of gave it a bit more of a, oh, okay, it's not all about her in the end. I thought the Skrulls I thought the Skrulls were just such a good twist at the end. I was like, that's
if it hadn't
brilliant.
been for that, I probably wouldn't have liked the movie because there was a lot of stuff in there that I was just like, all right.
Yeah, like I think having her whole like work that out herself and ask like the audience actually kind of know that she is human was a really good way for us to be focusing and fixating on that to the point where like we weren't really focusing on the villains. We just thought they were villains.
Yeah, it almost was like.
It was like a feint of hand. Well, it was like keep your eye on the character development, and then we're gonna surprise you with
which is
with
good.
The plot development.
I like that, and I think this is probably my favorite Marvel movie in the sense of the
origin ones.
No, in the sense of like supporting roles. Like all the supporting roles were just like really good. I loved Samuel Jackson in it.
He was great.
He was amazing. He was funny. He was like a little bit more light, and you didn't really see that side of Nick Fury, and just kind of like.
I guess because he was younger.
It was really fun to see that. I loved her best friend.
Yeah,
she was brilliant. And I loved what's his name? Australian actor
Ben Mendelsohn.
I loved him. He was just brilliant.
He was a bit of a standout. I think he actually stole the show a little bit.
He did. He really did. And it was really cool to see him because I kind of was like, he looks really familiar when he was like all in makeup. Yeah. And then the minute he came on and he played kind of both roles, I was like, no way. Oh, that's like really cool. It's really cool to like, and I was like, he's being the classic villain again. I was like, good on him. But then it was that made the twist even better for me. Because I was like,
only played villains for like the last 6 years. Yeah. I was like, Ben Mendelsohn again, playing Ben Mendelsohn. And then when it surprised me, I was like, that's awesome.
Yeah, that was a bit more of a bigger hit too in that field. I was like, that's a really cool like segue into the villains.
It sort of subverted like the Marvel trope of like the bad villains, because it was kind of like at first like just the insert villain like the Skrulls, but then they sort of had more and more of a prominent role, and then there was like sort of twist like they weren't actually the bad guys, and I thought that was like really really good. But because they go on a mission. They're like at the hit squad at the start, and I actually thought that stuff was kind of cool. It felt like Mass Effect to me. Like the music's really cool. And they capture her, and then they like seal the flashback memories, and she's like, "What's going on?" and stuff like that. And she like uses her flame fists and like gets out of it. And I really like Brie Larson in this movie. I think she's like really expressive and really kind of fun. And then eventually she gets to Earth, and I think that's when the movie like really gets like better. I think because her and Nick Fury have like such a good back and forth. Like I think it's like really fun with them. Yeah, and the technology that they use on his face is phenomenal.
He looked incredible for that film. Really he stole all that CGI budget, and none was given to the cat.
Fucking cat.
Sorry, classic Goose.
I don't want to like. I didn't like the cat.
No, I did not like the cat.
And I'm like the biggest cat person in the world, and
but
even I was like,
"There's too much cat."
It
was just
it was a bit sloppy.
Yeah. People behind us really liked it, but. Yeah, I don't know. It was like just too much. I think like it could have just been a quick little joke, but they just kept going back to it. And CG, I don't know. Looking at CGI cat got a bit old like sometimes.
Yeah, it was a bit young.
Because even on the trailers, the trailers looked shit for this movie. I'll be honest, they looked pretty rough because they were just totally all over the place. And even seeing Sam Jackson with the cat, and they like hyped that up, like, oh look, it's him with the cat. I'm like. Okay. It
was like a big part of their media campaign. It was like, look, this is Goose. He's in the movie. It was like,
does Goose have some role to play in Endgame or something? What?
Avenge the Fallen.
Avenge the Fallen.
Yeah, but no, I don't know. We're being a bit, I guess. Down.
Yeah, we are going in the harsh area.
They didn't go too hard with the '90s stuff. Like anymore, I think I would have been a bit cross. Like I think.
It wasn't a full slap. It was like here's a little entree of where they're set, which was nice. I like that.
They could have been more obnoxious with it. I'm glad they didn't. Like, they could have really I think it was quite good. I mean, it didn't really. I guess they just wanted to have a fun '90s thing. What did you think of the music? Because that's. People have different opinions.
I got thrown
the songs, off.
But I can't name a single song they used. It was all 90s music, wasn't it?
It was like...
I missed that, hey.
Don't go chasing waterfalls. And then there was the one... Well, the big one is at the end, the fight scene.
I'm kind of upset.
By No Doubt. And from what most people I talk to, it's... No one really likes that scene. It's like kind of...
I didn't like that.
So
I love the fight scene. I think it's just... I like was sitting there going, oh shit, like, okay, no, they're really making her powerful and really showing that off, and like how she just like had no struggle that whole time, which I loved in that last bit. But yeah, that song really threw me off. I was like,
is it the ones like,
I'm just a girl? No, it's a
it's a different one.
I
I'll play it to you afterwards, maybe.
There's a bit where like in that fight scene she throws one of the scrolls and he hits a jukebox on the ship. I thought, oh, is the jukebox playing it? I thought, were they doing a Shaun of the Dead thing? I was really confused at that point.
That would have made sense. Like, it would have started when he hit it.
Yeah.
But the song was playing before that. It's kind of weird.
It's weird.
It threw me off.
I don't think I'm enough of a music guy. I don't even think I knew they were 90s songs.
And then
I can't name any music from the 90s.
Yeah, you probably know
The
the songs
1990s.
if you played them, but I guess they weren't as... But then, I mean, you like the songs...
I'm really good with the
1890s. You like the songs in Guardians, I guess. And a lot of those were, like, kind of obscure.
Aren't they, like, 80s, 70s?
Yeah,
I see. I probably know that era better, I guess. I don't know.
Well,
I'm learning this about myself now.
I've never heard of that, like, ooga chaga, ooga. I'd never heard that before Guardians before.
Well, one thing I absolutely loved
song.
about the film. One thing I absolutely loved about the film was the very end when she just went hardcore, killed, like, just blew up all them spaceships on her own. It just, like, showed her off. And then she gets back down to Earth. And I go, I was thinking to myself, oh, for fuck's sake, are they going to do that classic, now she's going to struggle fighting her teacher when she's just blown up all these spaceships? But that wasn't the case. She was like, I don't need to prove this to you. And she just blew them up. And I was like, thank you.
That was a cool moment. Like,
that was such a good moment.
Kind of Indiana Jones kind of, he's like, face me without your powers. And she's like, I don't need to prove it to you.
Yeah.
I was like, thank you.
It's funny you say that you liked her blowing up all the spaceships and stuff like that, because you sort of didn't, Kosta.
No, I didn't.
She's sort of way too overpowered, I guess.
It was just really desensitizing. I was watching it, and I thought, like, she was flying through it, cutting through it like it was butter, and it was just exploding, like, just in her path. And I just thought, Christ, there is absolutely nothing, like, there's no challenge for her in this, you know? And then, like, she's unstoppable. It doesn't feel like there was any sort of thing she learnt. You're just like, oh, I just learnt that I'm actually super strong. You know, there wasn't really like honing any ability or learning to use it for like a different intent. I don't know.
But in saying that, it is an origin story. So she has got Endgame to kind of learn that in herself, maybe. That's maybe where her lesson is going to be taught.
I'm following the Ant-Man theory when it comes to Endgame.
Oh, God, no. The memes.
Let's not give that some airtime.
It's about Captain Marvel, not about Ant-Man and Thanos' poor body.
Does he even have an anus? Yeah. Someone will... It's funny, because I guess I'm kind of in the middle of you guys. Like, I liked Aspect. I like that she sort of assumed her full power, and I kind of like the kind of mind manipulation, like the memories that they gave her. I kind of like that. It's like they only gave her memories of her losing, so she just assumed she was like kind of shitty. You know what I mean? It's like, you failed, see, and it's like, well, hang on, that's not the whole memory. Like, she gets up and does it again. They just didn't show her that bit, and I thought that was like, that's kind of cool. Like, well, from like a narrative point of view, I guess, like.
I thought that might have been one of the best scenes in the movie, actually.
When she like breaks out of the AI chamber and she's like melting it, and
I can't remember what the bit is, but the bit where it shows all of her like as a kid and stuff, like falling and standing up.
Yeah.
Because it was just after someone said a line, you know, like, you're not a real Skrull or something, and then she does this thing.
It's like, you're just a human.
You're just a human. It's something like that, yeah. And I was watching it, I was like, yeah, that's what humans do. You know, we mess up all the time. I thought that was... I like almost cried in that scene. I was like, yes!
I think my favourite scene was probably when after she listened to the black box. Is it black box? They're on the plane?
Yeah.
And she like goes out into the field and she's like, I don't even know who I am. And then it was her friend that was like, you're a strong, independent woman. And I was like, this is a really good scene because it just brought everything down to earth and just like brought it back to like it was such a different tone to the rest of the film, which made it better. And then for that scene, it just made such a better impact on when she was like, wait, hold on, I'm allowed to be they're like, oh, you're just a human. You kind of go back to that like scene when she's with her friend, and it's like, no, you're more than that. Like, humans are a good thing. And it was kind of like when she was standing up, it was like even more empowering. You're like, oh, wow. Okay, I don't mind fucking up occasionally.
So what was everyone's, like, to sum up, I mean, did everyone, out of 10, can we do that? Or did you like it, dislike it? Because I'm sort of getting mixed from everyone.
Yeah. Look, I think I agree with Jack. It's not, I think you'd be stupid to say it's the worst Marvel film, and I think you would be equally stupid to say it's the best. So I think it's a really good, like, grounding, good origin story. It makes me excited for her to be mingling and stuff and talking with Endgame. I want to see what she's like in that film and like talking with the rest of the crew. So
I'm curious to see how they integrate her. Yeah, because even the other thing with her being quite overpowered is like, and the final shot, she's like going to help the Kree find a home, and she kind of blasts off with the ship because she gets her power from the Tesseract, the Space Stone. So I'm like, can she travel at light speed then? And it kind of is almost confirmed because then, well, like maybe not light speed, but very, 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 very fast. And because then at the end,
ludicrous speed.
Ludicrous speed, yeah. Because even at the end, like there's like a really cool post-credit sequence where they're all looking at the little transmitter, and then it's like Scarlett Johansson turns around, she's just there.
Oh, that was so
like,
good.
So you're real quick. So I was shouting my inner Kosta when I said that, but it's like, oh shit, she's just got there. Which is kind of cool. And yeah,
every movie now, just like the Flash, like has to get faster and faster.
It just got me real pumped for Endgame. It's funny when they do that, when they just do a scene, like they did that with Civil War at the end of Ant-Man. I think they just put scenes in. It's like scenes, from the next movie, not like an additional scene, which is kind of cheap in a little way. Like I would like a scene that's just a scene, you know, because I'm going to see that scene now in Endgame, and I'll be like, well, I've already seen this scene.
So
I'll pay money.
No, I like it.
I don't mind it. Yeah,
I really enjoy that.
I mean, I liked it too, but
I wasn't expecting them to go down and mention Endgame at all in this film, and then to see a little bit of it in the post-credit scene I was like, oh, hey, okay. And then she was like, bam, right there.
What did she say? She says, "Where's Nick?" or something.
No, she was like,
"Where's Fury?"
Where's Fury? And I thought that was like really humbling in itself. I was like, that just shows you like how good of a relationship and connection she had with Fury, and that's something that none of the other Avengers had, and none of them have seen Fury like that. It was like really young and just very vibrant and very like new to his job in SHIELD. So it's gonna be, I'm so excited to see that aspect of her and like being like, no, that's not Fury, being like all serious, but they're like, they've only seen that side of him.
Like, what happened to your eye? And he'll be like, I don't want to talk about it.
You didn't like that I
didn't like it either.
I liked.
How could you like it?
At the let me finish. I liked how at the start he gets into the car crash and then he's like, my eye, and I'm like, and I was like, is that the eye thing? And they he was like, no, my eye is fine. I'm like, oh, cheeky bugger.
I was like, is this gonna be the whole film now?
And then
I was really worried there was gonna be like 4 of them.
No, they didn't overdo it.
No, I just missed it. Yeah.
But the thing I get confused at was the fact that it was Goose that scratched the eye. But I was expecting something just like a little bit more relatable to when he said, last time I trusted someone, I nearly lost an eye. Like, remember in
Winter Soldier?
He said that?
I believe there's a line where he picks up the cat and he's like, I'm trusting you not to attack me, or something like that.
You see, now that you've said that.
No, I still think it was...
It's stupid.
I feel like they should have made that bit more stuck out, that he really did trust the cat.
Something.
No, she should have been a fucking cat.
It should have been some heroic thing, saving lives.
No, I like that it was, because then it just shows you that Fury does have a goofy side, and that, but that's how secretive he is. But no, I didn't mind. It was. I just wish they kind of made it seem a little bit more, kind of less, oh, let's pick a cat, instead of like they actually thought about how he lost an eye. I thought it was like a very last minute thing that they threw in.
I feel like it like does nothing really to develop his character. Like Charles Xavier is shot by Eric deflecting a bullet. That like kind of shatters a friendship. With that, the cat is just like, oh, I guess I'm not a cat person.
I was gonna say this
and shatters his bones. The metaphors. Filmmaking at its finest.
And how's he lose his hair again? Is that a
stress?
Thing? I can't.
The cat's just shitting everywhere. He's like, oh damn, man!
What cat? It's not a cat.
Wait, are we talking about Charles or Sam Jackson?
Sam Jackson.
I thought Charles. He's like all these ex-students. I can't take it.
All these ex-students.
These ex-students. Well, I thought they still went here. No, I meant the ex-students. Get out of my study, beast. And he like
shedding on the couch.
Oh man.
Alright.
That should have been how Professor X lost his bloody legs. He got scratched by the beast.
Sorry, Charles. I guess it's one of those polarizing jokes. It's very similar to that twist in Iron Man 3 where the Mandarin turned out to be the actor, which is really funny in the moment, but I know so many people that like hated that. Like
it was pretty dumb. Oh, okay.
Never mind.
Sorry, Anne.
God damn it.
You're the target audience.
Yeah. All right. Well, Captain Marvel for me was like a perfect middle. It wasn't like amazing, wasn't bad. Perfect middle for me.
I think it probably is in the bottom half for me of the Marvel films. I'm struggling to place it, but there were so many. I think they were a little bit cocky, maybe, and they were kind of like, we can do whatever in this film. I'm not trying to sound down on it because it was pretty fun, but it didn't really do anything new. It was so many elements of Thor and so many other things that were just kind of like, I thought.
No, I thought it was kind of like, it felt to me like a really good Phase 1 Marvel origin movie. Like it felt sort of like female Thor, but I feel like they learned a lot. Like what Iona said, like I think the supporting cast was like a bit better. And I think it's one of the more...
Yeah, but at the detriment of her, I thought.
You didn't like her, I guess?
No, I loved Brie Larson and I loved Captain Marvel, but like Kosta said, the character development sort of stuff...
I guess it's a bit light.
It was all a bit over the place. And the exposition was so heavy.
I guess because it was about her finding herself. Yeah.
But like, if they had shown... What I thought from the trailers, because they had all those scenes of her as a kid and stuff, and I thought they would kind of flesh out those scenes and we'd sort of see her development, I guess, throughout the film, but we didn't. They just kept popping up as memories without a lot of context, I thought. So, like, instead of seeing her as, like, an 8-year-old...
She had to in both like, Kosta in my right and my left.
I think that means they're agreeing, I hope. But yeah, like, you know, you could have seen, you know, all these cool scenes of her as, like, a young woman or whatever, you know, getting pushed down and then standing up again. But instead you just had, like, just flashes of it because it was like just reminding you that I don't know what the point of it even was really. It was like, I mean, everyone has that. You didn't have flashback memories of Iron Man falling over, but I guess he hadn't lost his memories, so.
Yeah, I guess sort of mid tier for me. Like I feel like I put it around kind of like a Doctor Strange thing. I think I'm maybe like it more than Doctor Strange. I think it's one of the more, because when we rewatched them last year, the Marvel movies, like I feel like both. Like Iron Man, Thor, and Captain America 1, they all just like fall apart in that third act. Like they all just like they start so strong, and then Iron Man, it's just like that shitty fight at the end. Thor's battling that robot in Mexico, and it's terrible. And it's like his friends like, "Hey Thor, we can take him," blah blah blah. And then like Captain America's like, it's just that big CGI fest, I guess. I mean, I like the end when he crashes it, but this one felt sort of the most consistent throughout. I think.
Thor, you know, like he sacrifices himself, like he gets like almost killed, and that's how he gets his power back. Like that's kind of a moment. Whereas Captain Marvel was like, "Oh, I didn't realize I had a chip in my neck," and she just takes it out, and then she's like, "God."
Yeah. I know. I guess narratively it's better. I guess I was more talking about just from like an action production standpoint. Like it's really kind of goofy and not like that entertaining to watch. Like on paper, I think it probably worked better, and then like seeing it in Thor, it's like,
Well, Thor, I think didn't work, but for a different reason, because their third act, well, they almost have like a fourth act, because he has like the big final battle with like the robot, and then he has the big final battle with Loki. Yeah, you know, like it drags.
Yeah. Whereas, I think Captain Marvel dragged.
Yeah, so do I.
Like as much as I enjoy it, like there is a bit I'm like, even because I've seen it twice now, we watched it today, and even then I was like, ooh. Because it's like, they go, they're in space, then they get to Earth, then they go back up to the Tesseract bit, then they go back to Earth, and then they go back up in space, and I'm just like, it's a bit, it drags a little bit. There's two sort of heroes that I think it relates a little bit to, which I was second time. I never got it the first time, but I thought this is the second time. I feel like they're really pegging her as Marvel's like Superman.
Yeah.
Like a female Superman, because she's so overpowered, very similar to Superman. I guess they haven't quite established a weakness yet. They might maybe introduce that sort of issue.
I'd love to see her get torn apart in 2 seconds by Doctor Strange.
Or like mental problems. Maybe she's got she can't have memory problems or something from being messed with. But especially at the end, the very last shot is her doing that classic Superman in the sky, floating around the Earth, and just looking at the Earth, and then she kind of looks at the camera, but she doesn't look at the camera. You know what I mean? She's just is kind of just floating there the way Superman does, and I was like, oh wow, it's like a female Superman, and I kind of like her cockiness, and I feel like it's probably internet trolls that don't like that because it's she's just cocky, but I think it's because she's quite antagonistic. A little bit. She's always especially with Jude Law and stuff like that, where he gets the lunchbox and the Tesseract's not in it, and she's like, I swear I put it in there. And it's she's really playing up she's she's just getting under his skin.
I think I liked her cockiness.
No, so did I. I think I kind of liked it.
Except that she didn't learn from it. I think, again, this is kind of what Kosta said. Her character being a little bit kind of cheeky and anti-authoritarian was cool, but then at the end of the movie, instead of being humbled at all, she just she became even more powerful and presumably even more cocky.
Yeah, I guess it's the opposite of Thor then, because Thor was his downfall was that he was too cocky.
It's all about hubris
and he was
and stuff.
Yeah, he had to learn hubris because he was I did it, father. I killed all the ice giants. And he's like, you fuck. You've ruined it.
Cast you out.
Cast you out. Gets Costa every time.
I know. I love that line.
I love Costa's line. Yeah.
Yeah, so her character arc was the opposite of that almost.
Yeah.
It was you're perfect, and
your birthright was today.
Jeez. Poor Kosta.
But you're not king.
But you're not king. Not yet.
Yeah, Captain Marvel. I reckon I could maybe a solid 6.
Out of 10.
Out of 10.
That was my number. I was thinking 6.
6.
I think I enjoyed it maybe the most out of you. So I agree it's flawed, but I enjoyed it.
I don't know. It's
hard
what
to put
you
a
always
number
say
to it.
about expectations and stuff. You shouldn't judge by what you wanted, but I was kind of underwhelmed. Yeah, I thought the same about Black Panther. After 20 films, you'd think they could do an origin film that was really good, but Black Panther was just all right, you got to defeat evil Black Panther. The second act of that film is so good, and then the third act is so boring. And then Captain Marvel was again, I expected so much more. Particularly as a woman character, and the first one, I thought that they would I didn't want them to ram that down your throat, but maybe show her overcoming some things, and I don't know.
I was almost going to bring that up, sort of the feminist overtones, I guess. If maybe not if it annoyed you, but I guess more if it was how overt they were as opposed to subtle. Because I thought it was really quite empowering, really good. But there were little things sometimes where it's oh, you should smile more, and I was like, I don't know how I feel about that, but I was like, whatever. It was kind of done fun, and then she steals a motorbike. You're like, yeah, girl.
I think the best one is when she's trying to become a pilot, and the guy's like, well, you know why they call it a cockpit?
Yeah, but it was in the memory, but it wasn't a complete jab.
Yeah,
it was this is kind of what you would expect for someone in the 90s as a female to be wanting to do a very male influenced job.
Yeah, no, I think they did it really well.
I don't think they over pushed anything.
No, I think they did it.
Me.
Yeah,
no,
not that I don't think it necessarily would.
No.
I think it was quite well done because that was the whole thing. They couldn't be pilots in the military, so they joined Pegasus to be pilots.
I'm not. Yeah, I don't mean that I wanted more or less from that. I just thought that they would have maybe made more of an effort somehow to build her character.
Yeah, I guess my point was maybe that it sucks that there's a lot of pressure on these first, and there shouldn't be, but there just always is. It's Marvel's first female one, and it's if it's shit, then there'll be no female superhero. It's shut the fuck. No one thinks or I don't know. It's what that comedian said about Wonder Woman, how it's no one saw Batman v Superman. I was like, well, that was shit. I guess we'll never make a male superhero movie again. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, if you twist it, it just is so ludicrous.
Yeah.
I just want, I don't want these films to have this pressure. Like it has to be.
Yeah.
It has to be like the next best thing for women around the world. You know, it's like let's just have it. Like let's just not even think about it. Let's just have it. Let's just have lots of female superheroes, and we don't bat an eye. Like let it become normalized, I guess.
I didn't really influence me at all. It was just in terms of a superhero film. I didn't think it was the best.
I agree too, and it was the same with Wonder Woman too.
Well, this is a funny one that people I've had just sort of. Do you think it was better or worse than Wonder Woman?
I thought Wonder Woman seems better.
I like Wonder Woman better too. Yeah.
Except Wonder Woman, I think also
falls apart.
Terrible third.
It didn't mind me the first time I watched it, but the second time I watched it, I'm like, this is awful.
Because I was like 10 minutes in, and I was like,
sorry, Anna,
David.
Yeah.
No,
definitely playing the villain.
Pulling faces, but no, I can't get past the villain in that film. I can't stand that film because the villain is just. You look at it. You look at that last fighting scene. You're like, really?
Yeah,
Wonder Woman.
Another explosion. Oh, okay.
I didn't expect it to fly as well, okay. But that's Wonder Woman. We're talking about Captain Marvel.
Yeah, sorry.
I just googled it and
sorry.
cockpit. It's not because there's men in there, so we can put that to bed.
Where does it come
what
from?
does the cockpit mean?
Cockpit. It's English. It's an English word. A compartment for the pilot and sometimes also the crew in an aircraft or spacecraft.
Why is it called?
English cock and English pit. In the late 16th century came together to form cockpit.
Why cock? Why cock?
Is it a rooster thing?
Cock of the walk, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, why not?
Cock-a-loon!
I guess the last final things I was going to say was with the Superman analogy, I really like the version of Superman where he is cocky, like he's like, fuck yeah, I'm amazing. And they do that in Robot Chicken, like he's just like, or like in some sketches, I guess, it's like, he's just like, you want me to solve, like I think Batman's like, Rachel's in one building and Harvey Dent's in the other, and the buildings are really far apart. And Superman's like, hang on, and he's like, and he's like, got him. Yeah. And like, so it's like, I like that she was sort of cocky like that. And then the other thing I said to Kosta, it's similar to Aquaman in a way, because the first shot of Aquaman is when he pushes the submarine by himself all the way up to the surface. Above the surface, he comes out of the water. It's a cool shot. The submarine's up in the air, but I was just like, fuck, he's so powerful. Like nothing. What's going to stop him? Yeah. And it sort of boiled down to like, oh, you just have to believe in yourself. Like you're this supreme badass. The only thing that's stopping you is you. Which is kind of a good message. Kind of. But I felt like it was very similar to that. Like she was powerful the whole time. It was more just like, you just gotta, like, I feel like Aquaman, he's like, I don't want to be king. And then at the very end, he's like, yeah, all right, I guess I'll be king. And then it's like, that's all it took was like this one little change of mind. Yeah. It's like the whole movie's the call to action. Like, I don't know if I like my life as a lighthouse person. And Captain Marvel was like the mercenary.
Very strange.
Anyway, any final thoughts?
It was okay.
Do you think we'll get a sequel? Probably.
Yeah, probably.
I just want Endgame.
Yeah.
That's all I want.
Any closure.
And yeah, I need Endgame. I don't really care at the moment. I want to know.
Yeah.
Does Ant-Man do it?
It's almost kind of strange introducing a new main character this late in the game. I don't know. That's not a thought I've had before. It's just...
Yeah, no, I feel you. She's like, hey guys, I've been here the whole time. They're like, because they've got...
Where were you?
They've all got such chemistry. Like, well, I guess Rocket's there too, which is new to the team. Like it's like the 6 Avengers and then like this raccoon as well. Yeah. You're right. He's not new to us. Yeah.
It's interesting.
Yeah. After Endgame, I think I'm done with Marvel. Just be like, yeah, I'm done.
But I think even Marvel's going to tone it down a bit. Hey, I mean, it seems like
I doubt it. But
they haven't announced anything. Maybe that's just because of Endgame.
Spider-Man.
Yeah, I think they don't want to.
They just can't give it away.
Kosta, any final words?
Yeah, it was good. When it comes to Endgame, I think I'm not that, like I said before, I'm not that worried about actually watching. I'm just worried about knowing what happens. I could just have someone tell me what happened in the end. I'm like, oh, okay, cool. And then live my life.
Just read it on the wiki.
Yeah.
Oh, that's how they do
it was just like a spoiler on Facebook. It's like, oh, Oh, that's how it happened.
Oh, it did go. He did go in the ear. Yeah, I'm hoping they surprise us, and I'm hoping it's.
I think they'll surprise us.
Really good.
I want to take bets on who dies.
I don't want them to.
Major casts won't make it.
Yeah.
I think they're all kind of done. I think they're all like. They've been doing it for like 10 years. They're gonna stick on that.
I reckon this will be the end of Iron Man.
They're gonna go back,
Definitely.
change the past, and none of it's gonna happen.
All I want to happen is if they're gonna use time travel, for Captain America to go back in time and live out his days with Peggy.
That'd be beautiful.
That would be the most amazing ending. I'd just be really happy with that. But I can't hope for that because if he dies, I'm gonna cry because I'm gonna think he could have lived out his life.
It's kind of crazy if they go back and like visit like Tony in the past or something. Like if they talk to their past selves.
I think they're gonna visit Cap in the past.
I don't know if they'll go. That's a messy road. But then maybe that's how they're gonna bring in all the X-Men. Like they just fuck up the universe and the timeline and stuff.
Don't do a Days of
An
Future
X-Men.
Past on me.
Oh
God.
Yeah, that's like the beginning of the end. Yeah. All right, guys. Let's wrap up there.
Yeah.
Let's wrap it up.
Okay. All right, guys. Thank you for listening to the Captain Marvel Spoilercast. And also thank you for listening to the Giant Blue Podcast. Guys, thank you for being here. Well, I might edit it differently. I might cut the Spoilercast into a different segment. All right. We'll see you later.
All right. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
All right. Don't talk to me.